U.S. negotiators worked on a proposed partial ceasefire in the 3-year-old conflict in Ukraine on Monday, meeting representatives from Russia one day after holding separate talks with a team from Kyiv. According to Associated Press senior Russian lawmaker Grigory Karasin, who took part in the Russia-US talks in Riyadh, told Russian state news agency RIA Novosti that the conversation was very interesting, difficult, but quite constructive. "We were at it all day from morning until late at night," Karasin was quoted by the agency as saying on Tuesday. Speaking about the conflict in Ukraine, Karasin said Moscow's and Washington's positions don't always align, but the two parties will continue to look for ways to cooperate, as there is now an understanding that cooperation is necessary to resolve the conflict. The lawmaker added that talks between expert groups from Russia and the US could continue. Karasin chairs a Foreign Affairs Committee in the Russian Parliament's upper house, the Federation Council. Before becoming a lawmaker, he served as a deputy foreign minister. Another official representing Russia at the talks was Sergei Beseda, an advisor to the head of Russia's Federal Security Service, FSB. Beseda previously was a department chief at the FSB and reportedly dealt with Ukraine. In an exchange with reporters at the White House, U.S. President Donald Trump said territorial lines and the potential for U.S. ownership of a key nuclear power plant in southern Ukraine have been part of the talks.
In the border area of the Belgorod region of the Russian Federation, the Ukrainian army continues a local offensive. The Russians have big problems there. This is what Russian Telegram publics are writing about. Thus, the VCHK-OGPU Telegram channel reports on the entry of small groups of Ukrainian infantry into the Krasnoyarsk region. According to it, there were several attempts to pull apart concrete pyramids known as Dragon's Teeth using engineering vehicles to open the way for armored vehicles. There is contradictory information that due to the Ukrainian landing groups that have entered the rear of the Russian armed forces, a threat of encirclement is being created for Russian troops in the area of Grafovka and Demidovka. Up to 1,000 Russian troops are defending there, and their situation is assessed as grave, with dead and wounded, the VCHK-OGPU writes. The Podubny Telegram channel also reports that Ukraine is using small infantry groups in this area. They are rolling up on quad bikes and buggies. They are not using heavy armored vehicles yet, he writes. The Telegram channel notes of a veteran indirectly confirms active fighting in the border area of the Belgorod region. Residents of certain settlements in the Krasnoyarsk region were advised to leave the combat zone. Many followed these recommendations, but there are those who did not. And now this is a problem since the situation has worsened and they have to be evacuated by the military, volunteers, special services and the militia, who in turn are suffering losses because of this, writes Z Channel. As reported on March the 18th, the Russian Defense Ministry announced the thwarting of a Ukrainian provocation in the Belgorod region. In particular, they stated that Ukrainian troops allegedly tried to penetrate Russian defenses in the Krasnoyarsk region. The Ukrainian General Staff did not confirm the participation of the defense forces in the fighting in the Belgorod region, but announced the destruction of the Russian Army field headquarters in this area. Military observer Denis Popovich believes that something is indeed happening in the Belgorod region, but it is too early to talk about a large-scale Ukrainian offensive like in the Kursk region last summer.